Welcome back to the Healing Stylist, the podcast where we dive deep into the intersection of mental health, boundaries, and personal growth in the salon industry. I am your host, Corrin Weekly, and today we're going to be asking some hard-hitting questions that every stylist should be reflecting on to ensure they're building the career they truly want. Whether it's about the type of client you're attracting, how to manage your time, or whether your price reflects your worth. We're getting real about what it means to take control of your business and prioritize your well-being. So let's take a moment to reflect on whether we're saying yes to clients out of fear or intentionally setting clear boundaries and creating the systems that allow us to thrive and not just survive in this fast-paced industry. So grab your notebook because today's episode is all about getting honest with yourself, making sure your business aligns with your goals and values. So let's get started. Okay, so I know I'm like a weekly, but life has been lifing, okay? So I know a lot of you have been waiting for this next episode to drop, and well, it's finally here. So today we're going to be talking about asking ourselves a few questions, and those questions I'm going to speak on from my experience. So the first question I want to ask that I want you to ask yourself is, am I really attracting the type of clients I want, or am I just saying yes to anyone who books? Oh, that's a really good question, because in the beginning, honestly, I didn't know who I was as a stylist. And as you get older, you are learning who you are. Well, you also need to learn who you are as a stylist. Excuse me. You want to know things about yourself as a stylist. And I will say in the beginning, I was just taking anything and everything because I'm a well-rounded stylist. I would say I still am a well-rounded stylist today. But, when you don't do something often, you kind of lose that skill. Let's be honest with yourself. I can do it all, but when it comes to clipper cuts and fades, I lack a little bit of that skill, the blending, because I don't do it as much. I have really zoned in on my favorite thing to do, which is color, balayage, blonding, brunettes. And in the past 2 years of that journey of finding myself, I found who I want to be as a person and as a stylist. And once I realized who I am, it was really simple to lock into who I wanted to be as a stylist. And I no longer say yes to anything. Just because I can do it doesn't mean I will. I had a client last week who was like, "You're the best, that's why I hit you up." And I'm like, "Girl, I haven't done that in like a year. Let me give you to my girl Kylie. Kylie is like the clipper cut guru, okay? Let's just keep it real. I want you to have the best haircut possible. You're spending money. Yes, I can do it. If you truly wanted me, I'll do it. But why? When there's better." I'm not afraid to admit if I think someone does something better than me. I think that shows that I'm very secure in what I do, and I'm not afraid to let my coworkers or co-stylists shine as well. We're a team and we're all going to eat together. And once you realize that, life's a piece of cake. Seriously, you will have less stress behind the chair. I have a real good question for you to ask yourself right now. Do I find myself gossiping about clients or other stylists instead of focusing on my growth? And this reminds me of something I used to hear as a child. If it don't apply, let it fly. Meaning, if it ain't got nothing to do with you, then mind your business. I mean, we've all been there. We've all been sucked into it. And baby, when I tell you the gossiping and the negative energy around all that, you're blocking your blessings. Like, let's be real. You may have had a moment. I've had a moment. I've been sucked in, whether I've been around negative coworkers, and there's winners and there's losers. And sometimes people are in that loser circle and they want to stay in that loser circle because misery loves company. And when you can just mind your business, it's like, wow. Literally, mind your business and your business will be successful. It's like, saying the ABCs. Literally, say it with me. Mind your business and it will be successful because all your energy and focus is going towards that. Trust me, a year ago, I would not have this podcast right now. I would not have done some of the things that I've done recently due to being sucked into gossiping with my coworkers. And once I realized that I didn't want that energy or that demeanor in my character, things really changed for me. And I will start by saying that I took a personal step back and realized that that's really not who I am. And I want to do better. I want to grow. I want to mentally grow. I want to physically challenge myself on all levels. And it's been a really nice journey these past 2 years. My next question is, am I setting healthy boundaries with my clients, or am I letting them take over my schedule? Now, I will say you are allowing people to walk all over you when they're like, oh, I can't do Monday. Do you have a Tuesday? And you don't work Tuesday? And you're like, sure, I'll come in for you. That's not healthy. You have a life. You have things you need to do. Even if you had nothing planned. I get it. We all need money. But that recovery time is just as important as you needing the extra dollars. And let me tell you, I would do anything. I still will. I will do anything and everything for my clients. But now I just have boundaries. I have a time set that I respond to text messages and emails. I won't work past my hours anymore. And one, I physically just can't. Mentally, I can't do it anymore because it's exhausting and it was starting to affect me beyond the chair. And nobody wants that to come home with you. Who wants to take work home with you and to the point that you really just can't focus? So I'd say the past 2 years, I have really learned to set boundaries with my clients, whether they know it or not, and my coworkers, whether they know it or not. Because you have to teach people how to treat you, and their perception of how they see things is not your fault. It's just not. So you just got to keep moving, keep pushing, and carry on. So the next question is, my pricing truly reflective of my skill set, or am I afraid to charge my worth? I will say in the beginning, I had some services because I work for a corporate salon and some of their prices I didn't agree with. But also, it was me being insecure. I felt like it was too much. I was living in my clients' pockets, and that's just something you can't do. People come to the salon to spend money. They know they're going to spend money, and they have a budget. So you need to offer your services, and if they say yes or no, then they say yes or no. But over the past few years, I have really invested in my tools and my education beyond the chair. So that gave me a little bit more confidence in the prices that I do charge, because I leveled up and my prices were more. So I no longer be like, oh, my haircut is $77. No, okay, my haircut today is going to be $77. Do you see the difference in that tone? When you're confident, they're confident in you, that they know that they're going to get something good. You can't just, so yeah, it's $77. Is that okay? What do you mean if that okay? Are you okay? Because baby, that's just not going to work for them. If you're questioning your own price, they're questioning if this is even worth it. And they're already starting to look for, oh, she messed me up. And you gotta go in there confident, say it with a straight face, fake it till you make it if you have to, and they will love you. So just be secure and confident in what you do. And if you're not, then maybe you need to get some education and reel it back for a moment before you do that service. Do I prioritize self-care, or am I burning out to keep up with client demands? Oh man, that's a good question. I definitely used to burn myself out to keep up with client demands because one year I just took off and it was non-stop. I was growing constantly, getting new referrals and new clients coming in, and I was like, what is going on? It was like Christmas holiday season, like January, February, March, April. It was not slowing down for me. And I was just like, what is going on? Like, I'm grateful, but I can't do this. I can't. So once I started setting boundaries, you hear me say this over and over, and started doing more self-care outside of like a regular routine pedicure. I was getting massages. I would do float therapy. If you don't know what float therapy is, I highly recommend you go look that up. I'll touch base on that on another time, but if you have questions about it, DM me and I will tell you everything there is to know about float therapy. It's such an amazing experience. It's like out of body experience to me. So then I started doing ice and hot baths for my hands and for my feet. I even got a paraffin wax machine my husband got me for Christmas, and that was life-changing. I invested in better shoes so my feet aren't swollen. I literally feel like I'm walking on clouds, and yes, you really do need to spend some money. My favorite place is the Walking Company. Look it up. It's amazing. Highly recommend it. And you guys know I preach self-care. Self-care, self-care, self-care. Am I taking the necessary steps to improve my skills, or have I become complacent in my education? When you start feeling stuck, it's time for you to take a class or go to one of those hairstylist retreats. Yes, they're expensive, but they are so worth it. It's like hair church. It's like church for hair. There's so much education. It's not even about the hair education. It's about mental, business, social media, just so many speakers that you just relate to who have honestly gone through what you've gone through, and it just lights a fire in you. And I highly recommend that. Even if you have to do virtual education, something is something, but always plan ahead. You can't do it this year. All right, next year is the year that you start planning to do continue education. Look up those prices now. BTC, University, IBS, NAHA, Hero Retreat. There's so many. Forever Curls Academy. My favorite is Leza Carrillo, and Curly Girl Guru. Let me tell you, if you're into textured hair, you gotta go follow my girl Leza Carrillo. She's just an amazing person, and I had the opportunity to talk with her at Hero, and it was just wow. I was fangirling, but highly recommend education. You will constantly hear me talk about mental health, boundaries, self-care, and continuing education. This one is, do I avoid difficult conversations with clients like late cancellations or pricing updates out of fear or losing them? And, for me personally, I never feared losing them, because when one walks out that door, two more walk in, and they will respect you. That was probably one of the only set boundaries I had for myself that I never really worried about, because if you can't respect my time, then what are we doing? Because I respect yours. I usually always try to start on time. I have you out in a timely manner. Even with those big projects, I'm abnormally fast, and I know that. So I know my clients really appreciate me getting them in and out. So I've never really struggled with having to tell somebody. Now, if you're late, I will, hey, you're past 15 minutes. We need to reschedule. Because for me, I run a tight ship and I don't have grace period where beyond 15 minutes, depending on what we're doing, like I just can't. And if it's something difficult, I'm just not going to double book that. I'm not going to stress myself. I want you to have my undivided attention as I would want my next client. And it's just, I respect your time. You got to respect mine. My 8th question is, am I setting clear goals for my business, or am I just winging it day to day? That is a good question, and I like to look at it daily, weekly, monthly, because you need to ensure your future books. Your future books is your money. So when I look at my day to day, I make a plan. I make sure I'm not stressed. I make sure I have my breaks and my lunches, and I see what those clients need. Like, okay, this client's coming in for a haircut. It's summertime. Maybe she needs a treatment. I'll offer her the treatment. So those are ways you can add on to maximize your services. And don't be afraid. Again, don't live in your clients' pockets. 1, you're here to make money. 2, they're here to spend money. And 3, you're here to make them look freaking gorgeous. Of course, who wouldn't want a treatment? So, yeah, look at it day to day, week to week, and then, of course, do your monthly overview, because you really need to ensure your books in the future, because if you're not, those pre-books are guaranteed money. And if you're just winging it, you're going to feel lost in the sauce. You're going to feel like you're not doing a good job. You're going to feel blah. And then you fall into that negative space. And I can't tell you how ugly that negative space is. It's horrible. It's stressful. We'll talk about that negative space at another time. That's actually a good one to go over. Number 9. Do I have systems in place to ensure a smooth client experience, or am I constantly overwhelmed with details? That's a really good question. I feel like I have a good system. I greet them, I get them comfortable, I make sure I'm comfortable, we do the consultation, and then we start to work it through the service. And sometimes my consultations can get really wordy, and in the past, when they get too wordy, I get stressed out and I shut down. So to avoid that, I make a plan. I plan ahead, and if I can, like if they're a new client, I have them send me pictures of their hair and inspiration of what they want. So then I have a system, a plan in place for when they come in. And it makes things run so much smoother when I can just take that extra 5 minutes the day before their appointment, or when they're reaching out and trying to book that appointment. It just makes everything run a lot smoother and very simple. Number 10. Am I leveraging social media to showcase my best work, or do I let the fear of judgment hold me back? I've had times where I've had a picture and I'm like, this picture is not good enough for my social media. And 5 days later, I go back and be like, man, that's a really good picture. Why didn't I post it? Because we're hard on ourselves. We are the ones who look at our work and think it's not good enough. But you know what? I've seen people in the industry with the biggest names mess up, and people still glorify them. And I've learned that if you mess up your client and they love you, they come to you for you, and you'll fix it. They'll give you the opportunity to fix it no matter what. Yes, they want a good service. Yes, they want a good skill stylist. But at the end of the day, when you're locked in, you're human. Things happen. And social media is a lot of pressure. And it's a second job. Let's be real. But once you grasp your own pace on how to post and what to post, and post things that you want to attract, because if you're posting everything and you're getting those things you don't want, that's your fault for attracting it. You have to tell the universe what it is that you want and want to do. It's that simple. If you go to my page, you see lots of color and balayages, and that's what I attract. Every blue moon, I'll get something where someone will ask for a service, and I'm just like, it's not what I do, but I have someone for you. So I like to be able to connect to other stylists and network, and, link them with the client that might work for them. And our final question is, do I manage my time well, or am I constantly running behind and apologizing? It's very rare for me, even in the past, for me to run behind. If I'm running behind, it's because I underestimated the time it took to blow out the hair, or we had a change in the service. Like, it was a haircut. She wanted like a partial highlight, and it might run me over like 5-10 minutes, but I would say I manage my time very well, because time is money, and we do not have time to waste. Nobody does. You need to respect the client's time as they respect your time. So if I'm told my appointment's at 3:20 and I show up at 3:20 and we start at like 4:15, I'm going to be a little upset. So yes, every blue moon it does happen. Yes, our clients are understanding, but how often is that happening? And how often is it happening to the same client? If you have a pattern of doing this, they're not going to stick around. Like, they might once or twice, but 3 times, that's really tough. And that's not something I will play around with. So if you need to, I would give yourself extra time. Like, even if you have a client where you think, oh, she likes to change things in the middle of the service, let's just go ahead and add an extra hour. And you know what? If you get done early, baby, you have a built-in break. Guaranteed break. Cleanup time, break, a walk, get some water, get some food, and that's okay. Just don't have so many gaps. You want to compact your day, but you want to be smart about it. You don't want to, unless that's your speed. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't know what your goals are, but if you're someone who has a high dollar ticket for the week and you need X amount of money, then you got to pick up that time. And there's great tools on how to speed up. And if you have questions on that, you can also DM me and I can give you some really good tips. But that concludes my podcast today. I hope these questions were good, and I hope that you can really reflect on them and you can get some input and take away some tips and reminders to be the best you. Until next time, bye.